I think we're going live now. Inshallah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We're going to try and keep it in English, please. Let's just talk to early evening in Western Europe and America. So if you could be kind enough to change your names into your country names, it'd be easier for me to pick out who I'm supposed to talk to. Let's just start with the lady, and then we go to them. And one more condition, please. Whoever has spoken in the last sessions, 2 sessions maybe, let's just give other people a chance. Okay, Bill. Let's go to India first, because that's the only person who's put her name in there. Ji Fawzia, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Try and keep it in English, please.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि हम जैसे आईएमएस में बात करते हैं कि हम साइंस के बारे में मतलब रिसर्च करेंगे और ये सब करेंगे, तो हमारे पास वो फाइन लाइन कैसे बनेगा कि हम उसमें डिफरेंशिएट कर सकें कि कहीं वो हमारा रैशनल और लॉजिक को गलत तरीके पे ना चला जाए, जैसे मुतज़िला का फितना था, तो हम कैसे डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे?
साइंस का मुतज़िला से क्या ताल्लुक है? मुतज़िला was not science driven, or nor are we science driven, by the way. That's the only commonality between us and Mu'tazila. We are trying to find interpret the actual written signs in the Quran, where Allah Azza wa Jal has called it a sign. Okay, and He has given us literal verses to ponder upon. And we're not talking about any philosophy which is around the Quran. Mu'tazila was trying to write down philosophy around the very doctrine of Islam. Okay, and we're not doing anything like this. We are actually trying to progress the mindset of the current day Muslim who has a belief set, who has a very crisp belief in the Aqidah that, classical Islam actually has to offer. We're not changing any belief system or any concept around a belief system. We already have a very standard set of belief system. We are not tapping into our belief systems. We are actually trying to explore and guide the current science. So that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to change any belief system that people have, Muslims have. Okay, I hope it's clear. I hope I've answered your question. There's nothing. We are not trying to change the philosophy of the current doctrine of Islam. Gee, let's just go into hold on. I'm only going to pick out people who have put their names, country names in their handles. So USA, Huma.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Am I clear and loud enough?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm your EI student, Edwell. I thought not to speak here, by the way, first, because I overspeak there. But I do have a very relevant questions because I teach teenagers at local masjid at Sunday school. So I want to know your opinion about LGBTQ, SIA, whatever it is, and pronouns. So how would you teach a youngster here in West about LGBT? What should they do at their schools? What should their approach be?
It's called biology. Teach them biology. and teach them classical biology, and they are being taught biology. Teach them what biology is, how it manifests itself in human beings, and not just human beings, all, phylum Animalia, and then they'll figure it out. Don't worry. Teach them biology from ground up, and they'll figure out how these people are trying to twist and actually refute the very basic concepts of biology. So that would be your only argument in America or wherever. LGBT, or well, gender pronouns, or enforcing certain terminologies which is against biology is just senseless. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what.
So, yeah, got it. And how
And
about
also
if there's
teach them
school?
political science later on. Okay,
Yeah, I
then
do.
they'll figure out.
That's where I want to go and take you, please, because right now Muslims are not actively involved. I mean, they are, but youngsters gonna be more because they are born here. So what would they be doing at school if their school is pro LGBT? Should they be
They'll
reaching
be
their
arguing.
principal?
No, they
Okay.
should be reaching everybody if they're old enough. They should be holding their own clusters and making arguments, holding
Mhm.
debates, logical debates. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what every human being is supposed to do. Okay,
Yeah.
this is
And last thing, please,
absolutely.
like pronouns. If we have to apply for job here, you know it very well. Like we have to provide pronouns. So what to do regarding that?
Well, till you change the general opinion, you keep debating it until you change the general opinion, the public opinion, and try and make some inroads and keep filing petitions around this and argue in and outside, courtrooms and university campuses. You got to do what you got to do. This is not something which is um, our kids can practically, bisect or go around. But they have to be clear, logical, and loud enough. That's what my,
Yeah,
my
and
advice to all kids is.
got it. So would you prefer giving pronouns if you are applying yourself somewhere abroad, or you just opt out to give
Nobody
pronouns
prefers it.
personally?
No. For whom? For who?
For yourself or for my kids here, for me, I mean, if we are applying abroad and we are asked specifically to give pronouns, and should we say that we don't want to give pronouns? Is it the right approach?
I have absolutely no idea what you mean by that. What do you mean? I have to
You know,
give
you
my own
know,
pronoun?
yeah, he, she, they, them. I don't know how many are there. There are
Tell them
so many
two. Don't worry.
pronouns. Yeah.
No, no. Well, if I have to give a pronoun, I'll tell them it's a two-letter word. It's called he for me. Okay, it's a very simple pronoun. Okay,
Yeah. So
it's
if we, Mhm. I'm asking because see, if we deny giving, then we deny a whole idea of pronouns. I mean, there's a set of
I do not know what
pronouns.
you mean by deny giving. I don't know. I seriously am not catching your drift here about who's giving
Yeah.
pronoun. It's already there. This is the oldest pronoun in the world. He, okay, and she.
Yeah, got it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It made
No
things clear
problem.
for me. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, biology. Let's go to biology. Kids should go to biology. Yeah, we're purposely keeping this session in English. This is for overseas Muslims only, overseas Pakistanis to be, particular. But I am not going to be able to speak Urdu much here in this session. I have been under a lot of criticism from overseas Muslims that if you're calling in an overseas session, then please do not make it hard for us to understand those sessions, because most of my sessions are in Urdu, and it's been quite a loud demand from overseas Pakistanis that I should be doing sessions specifically for them, and I should be, because in Ramadan I might not be able to get the time. But if since this message is directed to them, I want to make it easy and keep it in English. Okay. Yes, sir. Clubhouse session last night was not for overseas Muslims. It was for IMS team leaders. Clubhouse session would be for IMS team leaders for in the next few weeks. I'm going to keep doing that in Urdu so that most of my team leaders can get it. 68% of my team leaders are from Pakistan, so I can't just start IMS sessions in English, even though there will be a very clear stream of my content in IMS, very clear, maybe even more than 50%, which is going to be English only. But my team leader session is going to be in Urdu. Okay. Ji, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is with reference to Surah Zumar. When we sleep, our soul leaves our body. So can this be attributed as astral projection? And if yes, then what is the significance of dreams in this context?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the way I look at it. Allah will use the word death in there in Surah Zumar. You need to understand. Okay. Now, that can be attributed to, transcending two dimensions. Can be. But astral projection or not, traveling through dimensions, it is actually keeping you in the same dimension, even though you can get a view. Like, a lot of well, I don't know what kind of detail I should give you. I don't want to put weird ideas in kids' heads, especially who are already in DMTs and psychedelic drugs and all that and whatnot. So I think, and I'm going to be very quick, so if people don't understand it, it's not going to be much of a loss. I think astral projection, which I do believe at a lot of levels, are through sound, not through anything else. So I'm not going to go in details with that right now. I think, and I believe, sound is the source of travel through these sort of realms. Okay, let's not go into detail right now. I know. Okay, I hope and there is absolutely no sound in sleep. As soon as you're going to get through sound, you're going to break the sleep. Okay, that's how we break people's sleep. We make a sound, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't really go hand in hand, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope you got the message. I hope you know.
I got the gist of it. Thank you.
Plus, as to, but not just okay. Let me just give you a little more detail. In sleep, there's a part of our body, our being, which is the soul, that actually transcends. So it soars through wherever it soars through. In astral projection, it's not soul. It's not just the soul. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I can keep quoting a lot of things from the Quran and these and a lot of other literature, but your question is specific, so I'm going to keep it specific. Otherwise, this whole session is going to tangent out of the core, and because it's a very interesting topic, and a lot of people want to talk about this a lot. So I'm not going to go in detail. Okay. However, food for thought, tasawwuf is a realm through which you can understand a lot of things like this in a matter of and under the umbrella of science. Okay. And IMS is not going to project this subject matter. Just FYI to everybody. G. Okay. Rehab. That's your name, Rehab? Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Sadia, I need some boys to talk to.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Hello, assalamu alaikum. This is Rahab. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are. Okay, Jahab, okay. So you okay.
Actually, I was driving while I heard you calling my name. I'm so sorry. So I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Yes, Gigi. Please go on.
So quick question. So basically, like, I'm already a part of ICNA. It's an organization which is huge, subhanAllah. And we have a platform here by the name of Why Islam. and I'm planning to work for them. Basically, that is where we actually talk to the non-Muslims. We give dawah, and for that we have to be like really well equipped. So my question was that when you were talking about, we being taught by your SMEs, like your subject matter experts, would they be able to give us such extensive knowledge and understanding of our Quranic ayahs in relation with, the domains or any specific domain if I choose? Would that be that extensive and logical in order to, convince these people, because they're all about logic?
That's the plan. That's the plan. But it's not going to be coming directly from them. We're going to be mixing a lot of categories together before we make the content. So, those SMEs are not going to be, you're not going to be hearing from them. You're going to be hearing from my core team, most probably in the first few months, just me, so that I can actually channel it through the Quran. Their job would be to get their subject matter to the creative team. My job would be to get that subject matter translated through the lens of the Quran. Okay.
Absolutely.
You see where I'm coming
this
from?
is exactly what makes you, this is exactly what makes you different from the others. Because I'm already enrolled in the program, which helps, already in Fahmul Quran programs, already doing Ibn Kathir and everything. But my interest was when I heard you, that was different. Because when you talk about logic, when you talk about connecting Quranic ayahs with geology, science, it's huge, it's different, it's logical.
Well, I hope you communicate the same. I hope you are communicating the grammar of your audience. Okay, just because you find it logical, you might not find other people thinking on the same lines. You gotta, make sure you're in sync with the way people are thinking and the way they actually look at things. Just because it's logical for you, you should understand and check your biases as well, okay? Because we're Muslims, we're naturally going to be assuming that, what's in the Quran is logical. That's not how it works with non-Muslims, okay?
True.
Yeah. And just because he's a Christian doesn't mean that he thinks Bible is logical, okay? They have a very good way of looking at the belief system of Bible. They don't really look at it from a logical point of view. They just look at it from a very, emotional point of view. So if you're putting logic in.
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but my, the question is basically, Sahil Bhai, the problem is like, these people, they are not into the religion. They are not into Bible at all. They are just
I'm
people
just saying
9
that's
to 5
exactly what
working.
I was,
They don't know they don't know anything. They just trust the logic. If it, they're fine with that. Otherwise, they'll just deny it. They are stubborn.
Well, okay. I can say the same about Muslims. Won't you agree?
Oh, yeah, definitely. 200%.
Okay. So we got to work on Muslims in understanding and reinterpreting their own worldview about Islam, literally, so they can mellow it down a little, just be a little open and be soft. Muslims are pretty rigid, and what the word would be, rigid is the word. They're pretty rigid in, in trying to understand how other people, how to actually, accept that there's a difference between two different people in two different religions. And they're actually exerting and asserting a lot of things, which is not Islam. We gotta bring them in to the heart, and then do the mind surgery. Okay, make sure you don't miss out the heart when you're putting in logic on the table. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you
Make sure
so
you
much.
understand Christians are a very soft community, okay? And that's their strength. And that's a strength that you might want to channel and harness it in bringing them into, a healthy and a very well-formed debate. Uh,
True.
and that's something which I would do and I have done. Uh, and the more Christian they are, the softer they will be, okay? You need to understand that, okay?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. They'll be closer to the religion. Their hearts are pure, comparatively.
No, that's not the right word. See, purity
I
is
mean,
something else,
pure
which
for
of course
them.
sort they're softer. They're soft people.
They're
They're
softer.
uh
Yeah,
they're emotionally, they're emotionally intact. Okay.
they're more channel. I mean,
Well, I missed out on what you're saying, but you get the message, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and subhanallah, it's the right time because I wanted to follow something like that. Anything which would help me understand and then further give the, make people understand and realize that this is the right religion and this is what um, we are meant to do actually.
Yeah, since you already are carrying this mission, I suggest you become a bigger part of IMS and try and practice uh, communicating the concepts which are new even to Muslims, which we're trying to present. Okay.
That would be great, and I would love to do that. Subhanallah. Thank you so much. Jazakumullah khair.
Inshallah. Thank you. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Welcome, salam.
Wakas, Vancouver. Wakas. I just assume I just pray. I'm praying you from Vancouver. Go on. I didn't write it. You, Wakas.
Assalamu alaikum. Sahil bhai, you've talked a lot about talking to people in the grammar that they understand. How would one effectively figure out the grammar the other person wants to be
I mean, how would I know what?
communicated in?
Yeah, that's the best question of the day, isn't it? Let me just reiterate how to look at grammar. Grammar is looked into through the lingo, fear and fascination. Okay, understand the lingo, the actual orchestra of how they incorporate the expression of whenever they're showing fear or showing fascination. And fascination, you can actually check through the way they actually, making that certain element of the pop culture viral in their own realms. You'll find out, this is what's going on with them. And you actually look at and surgically study, which is not a rocket science. You can actually see, what's going on with these people and what kind of content is being or is currently viral, and they actually relate to it. That's your window in. That's 50%, like a little less than 50% of your grammar right there. And then let me give you an example. When I look at the statistics of social media of most of the content that's flying around there, which I do very keenly, that's part of our command and control center. So we look into concepts which are more viral. So if in Pakistan, you look into that element and you see that the kind of content that goes viral in Pakistan or Pakistan is of a certain nature. And if you look at any viral content in North America, you'll find out that, that's a totally different ballgame they're playing. Their brains are in a totally different place. Okay. Give an example because of what's going on in North America, which is the most popular subject matter over the internet in age groups which you and I are, referring to right now. A little over 18, a little less than 18 maybe, and close to 45. Between this zone, that's your target audience, right? Those are the decision makers of tomorrow. So you need to see, and those are the people who are most in number. So statistics are backing you up here. So if you're not analyzing this, then you've lost the game before even you came into the park. You see where I'm coming from? Because you with me here? Because you gotta play with me. I think you're on mute, and I've lost you in my list. My Zoom list is so fluid; it keeps flowing around. I cannot find a person in the same spot or wherever. 2 seconds after I unmute you. So okay, let me just give you the rest of the half, which is the fear. Fear is about how most vulnerability plays out. That is the fear of looking stupid, looking dumb, fear of not going as close as you can to the absolute truth, which you call the truth. That's why you keep using this word, and everybody does keeps using this word logic, which means he's representing the truth. Nobody wants to look dumb when they when they're in a debate or when they actually argue, and that's your primal fear, which is what you're going to address, because you're going to use these terminologies very clearly, and you need to understand how to convince anyone, as long as you're talking about how you're representing the truth and you're trying to hit the same target all the time. And that's where they're going to be arguing anyway. So they're going to do this job for you. So fear and fascination, going towards as close as you can to the truth. Most of the time you're representing it. So you got to be really well read. You have to be, practicing your arguments really well, and do a lot of homework because you don't want to be surprised or ambushed by a very shallow argument, which seemingly is going to be new to you, and you have not really understood the weight which is inside those loaded arguments, which they don't even come up with. They're just reproducing it because they heard it on in some video somewhere, and that's they couldn't even decipher, and now they're actually throwing it at you as a rebuttal. And if you cannot argue against that, then you're not the right person to argue. Okay, you don't want to. If you're getting surprised too many times from their arguments or whatever they're arguing, then you're the wrong person in that room. Okay, and that's the rest of the part of the grammar. So these two windows, these two elements, fear and fascination, you gotta make sure you combine them, and you really don't go farther from this tunnel where these two elements are flowing. Okay, I hope I made it as clear as I possibly can. I had to use some generic terminology so that everybody can get the meaning. Okay, because same kind of fear is going to be prevalent everywhere, but same kind of fascination is not going to be in England, which is in America right now. Not going to be in Pakistan, not at all in Pakistan, which is going to be in actually when you are debating or talking to people in groups in Pakistan, most of them are not even going to understand the angle which you're coming from, and they're going to actually try to pull you down and try and talk a lot more emotional than rational, and they are going to do a lot better in getting convinced, even though you're not even going to be playing that rationale card so many times. So you need to understand which audience you're talking to, and every audience has its own grammar, and within that audience you have layers, and the top layer is going to have a globally uniform grammar, and the lower layer is going to have a very local grammar. Okay, even in the lowest layers in India and Pakistan differ. Okay, so you got to understand who you're talking to, and you got to make a very clear archetype in your mind when you're trying to talk to a camera. Okay, because you really need to know who you're targeting, and that's the kind of fascination you're going to use, and reduce their fear. Okay, it's a good question. It's an amazing question, actually. Okay, this is something that you have to orchestrate your whole literature, your own argumentation, and your case. Let me just go to Rajab, England.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes. My question was regarding confusions you get on information based on when searching about what's happening around the world. Each media outlet presents their case biasly. So how do you judge between those biased views to get to the correct information?
Well, you can't. I mean, there's no way to decipher, or whatever they're trying to edit out. However, you can look at the contemporary critical analysis of the same events and same sort of, same points of view and see, what is the other side saying. And that's what you have to do. And that's your basic research. However, still, I won't trust the media just because, I got a lot of people who are telling me something which is different about the same event, right? So let's just assume that something is coming out of America, whatever's going on, or whatever their, foreign policy is making them do. There's no way to actually look at that kind of critical analysis of this sort of an event, because not much can be said, which is going, even if it is being said somewhere, you're not going to have access to it because it's not going to come on the media anyway. So you got to really know where to look at and who to listen to when you need to create a challenge in your own mind around the news, which is flying around all the time. So I would rather read more than, look at videos and try and see, a lot more, I read a lot more content about the same situation so that I can get a better perspective. And that's all I can do right now. And this is the time where you really can't decipher a lot of things. And it takes a lot more years now to generate that wisdom of, the hindsight, which was not the case before, but we do get that. So once you have that sort of wisdom, you can do the math. Let me give you an example here. In Pakistan media channels, whenever there's a single news being played all over the channels, my mind naturally goes into a question, which is a pattern coming from the pattern of this media, that something which is going on, which is at a government level, at a national level, which has to be kept secret, and I need to do the kind of math as to what could be going on right now, on my own, without even, because there's no way to find out. Because when the whole media channel, all of them are showing the same thing, that means they're all not showing something which is bigger and it is going on at a very grand level. That's why they're not showing. All of them are told to show something else. Now you need to know when are you witnessing this sort of an event, and then you'll have to do the math as to what could be going on, and after a bit of research, you'll find out. And it has happened so many times now that whenever I see such uniformity of communication from these media channels, I get a lot more worried, because something which is way more gruesome, way more, way bigger in magnitude is going on, which is something we can never know till, it comes out in a few years. So that's the problem. That is a big problem. And I'm not going to give you more examples. I mean, I hope you get the point here. There's so many examples that come to my mind, especially being in Pakistan. Okay, but America does the same thing. I mean, media does the same thing. But the fact that it is so diverse, media itself, you cannot have that sort of a policy across continents, right? So in Europe, you have a way bigger edge to understand what could be going on and decipher a lot more things, because there's so many channels through which you can find out. Okay, not all of them could be just getting one phone call and France and Spain and Scandinavia and England showing everything on BBC and whatever they got. on Sky, and I do not know what's going on in France and in Scandinavia on TV, but they're not run by the same companies. So I hope you get the way you look at it. Otherwise, this is not something which is easy to decode. So let's just go to America again. Faryal, Bushra, sorry.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Bushra.
Thanks for giving me opportunity, sir. I have a question. Actually, I'm really amazed by this IMS system and the cluster concept, because we were already working on similar mode, but now I am having questions about it. So what we do here, we are a group of people, like group of women. We read Quran together, we ponder together through the different tafsir, and whatever our takeaway is, we try to spread it. And I'm also working on some video making stuff. Like I make short clips of my understanding and I try to spread out. Now my question is, as a mother of two and a working lady in IT, I do 9 to 5 job. I am told that my kids are the primary responsibility, and this comes from everywhere, not just my in-laws. It comes from, it's from our Eastern society that we need to take care of our kids first. So I'm very confused right now when I'm balancing my job, my kids, and this passion for, spreading the knowledge while getting something for my own sake. Like I'm acquiring the knowledge at the same time I'm trying to spread it out. So I am really confused. This is my main question. I have a lot of questions, but this is more related to your mission, and I wanted to be part of IMS, but this thing is holding me back. So what do you advise?
Just give me the last part of your question. What is holding you back? Kusha, come on, no. You said something's holding you back. What's that? That thing that's holding you back?
Sorry, I was unable to unmute myself. This thing, like this pressure that I need to be a good mom first. I have 11-year-old, actually 12-year-old and 8-year-old at home. And I have this pressure that I have to make them good Muslims living in this society. I'm in USA right now in New Jersey. And they were going to Islamic school. Now they're in public school. And I have this immense pressure that I have to do their perfect tarbiyah first. So when I am going to these different events where I'm trying to influence different ladies, because I have passion for this. I have a long history of depression, actually, sorry. And then during COVID, I discovered purpose of my life. I discovered that I have to do something other than 9 to 5 life, other than being a mom. I started this thing.
Let me reiterate this question. You want to join all these circles which you want to spread the message and be a lot more active in this while you are worried that you're neglecting your child?
Yeah, I am being told that if you would do, this is their prime age. If you would do something, and I'm not being told directly. Like whenever I'm in these activities, I'm being told, oh, your primary responsibility is your kids. So I am confused myself, like how to balance it out. Should I just sit down and first focus on their tabiyat and everything? But what if,
Right.
yeah.
Which time? Like, how old is the child now? Bushra. Okay, assuming I think you said 12. So take the child with you and get him involved or her involved now. He's 12. He's as big as they're going to get now. Okay. Make sure you understand. Your 12-year-old children should be accompanying you in your own, life missions. They should know what their mother or father is all about. Okay. Make sure you really keep them with you and teach them before you teach anybody else. If you cannot teach your own child, then why are you teaching anybody else? Okay. So it's and that is your prime responsibility, your child. because if you're gonna miss out on him. You can create two dies, and you're just creating one. So work on both of them. Okay, make sure your child is accompanying you, especially, not just on ball games, right? Not just because you want to make a friend out of your son or daughter. It's okay, it's a good thing, but that's not hygiene. Your hygiene is that you take them to your, struggles and your missions where you're going to be, really, working towards something which you're not going to get money out of. And he should know that, my father or mother spends so much time, and this is not business of this world, this is a business of the next world. And he's spending or she's spending so much time in there, and a lot more focus and energy spent there. That's what real life is. That's how Islam is done. You know what I'm saying? Especially in kids. That's how parenting is done. Okay. I hope you get the part of the question answered. Gee, I need a boy. Saskatchewan, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Sahil bhai. How are you?
Salam. I'm good. Yeah, I
Um,
need you to talk to a boy. Gigi, go on.
You probably have talked to me before. My name is Tabir.
Do you have a
And
question?
yes, I do have a question. I don't know how it will sound, but before asking my question, I will just tell you something that
No,
just a month
please
ago.
get what's the question?
Okay, my question is, how do we actually fear Allah the way it is His right to be feared of? Because
Good question. No, I get the question. It's a good question. So when we say ittaqullah, it doesn't mean, get scared like a na'udzubillah, we get scared from a monster or, whatever, that concept of, that we carry from our childhood. We have to understand when Allah says ittaqullah, He means that, I put fear inside your heads, inside your minds, inside your brains. There's a certain chemistry of fear, your chemicals, actually. There's a certain nervous system for fear. Okay, that's how big fear is. There's a certain nervous system, which is based out of fear, literally. It handles fear, you know. So ittaqullah should be looked into when we look at biology and our own chemistry, right? So we have that not only sense of fear, but we have a certain way to act, a behavior which is designed when we are under this emotion of fear. So when Allah says ittaqullah, you need to understand that He's talking to that design of your own body, okay? And we use that design, and we submit to a lot of things which are going on around the world, and that is because of that fear of what people will say about me. I dress the way I dress, I talk the way I talk. I want to make sure that I don't really, go under the curve of the majority of how people are actually, approving it, literally. Okay, and that's what Allah is telling us. That why are you looking for approvals of the groups or whoever is calling the shots on you? I am the only being that's actually calling the shots on you and everyone else and everything else in the whole universe. And you're not even thinking about what I'm going to say or what I would think. You're not reading from the book. Even if you are, you don't really care. And you might as well just, go on and just be afraid and do or try and please people. And in trying to submit to whatever they would want you to do. So that's a smaller demand. Just because they're right in front of you, that inflates the obvious weight of the demand. So you just submit to that demand. You need to understand what ittaqullah actually means for an adult, a functioning, thinking adult. We all know what that fear is. That's the fear of, how am I going to, a fear of losing that place in that we yearn for every single day when as soon as we wake up till we go to sleep, even the way we sleep, even till that point comes in every night. I don't want to sleep. And in the way I'm going to put myself to sleep should be also according to the norms that people have set. I mean, that's how deep this whole psychology of fear is. So keep digging it down, and you'll find out that, at every note of every branch and every leaf of this tree, till the roots, we are not putting Allah in any element the whole hierarchy of fear. Okay, there's a hierarchy of fear. So that's what ittaqullah means. That's basic chemistry. Okay, well, I'm relating it and calling it chemistry because we can see that system. It's our design. That's our chemical design. Okay, to carry the fear at all times. I need a boy. I can't see boys. Ahmad, Munich.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah, sir.
Walaikum salam.
So, sir, I have been seeing and listening to Dr. Srar and Maulana Ishaq for quite a long time. And what I have learned from them is that first you have to fix yourself, implement the Islam in yourself, then in your family, and then go out and implement that in the society, you know. That's how I understood. And now the question comes to that, if we are living abroad, then how we are going to achieve the third part if we ourselves implement Islam for ourselves and then family, and how we're going to implement the third part,
which is implementing
implement Islam in the society.
Yeah, you start by I'll give you a model. There's a working model for this. Dr. Sar or anyone who's going to talk about implementing the system. I think Maulana Ishaq was a superior solution than Dr. Sar's. Maulana Ishaq gave a very practical solution for it, which is a very common sense solution. We in Pakistan did it 75 years ago, right? So how do we do that? We actually implement it like the Jews have implemented it. Simple. It's a working model. You know, Jews in Germany, Jews in England, Jews in France, Jews in America. They're not implementing Judaic system implementation in America. Where are they implementing?
Sorry to cut you. They got their land and then they implemented their system.
And
you know,
we have land.
Implemented
We have way
in
bigger land. We have lands and acres more than they have. They have a spick of a land compared to what we have. You know what I'm saying? The whole country can fit 20 times in the countries 200 times the kind of countries we actually have. You know, we need to actually see. I need the overseas Muslims to call in the logic of Islam to the world of Islam right now. You guys are way over the curve. Local Pakistanis and Indians, they look up to overseas Muslims because of so many visible and invisible reasons. And rightly so. You guys are far more competent, far more eloquent, well, a million times more eloquent. You guys are swift. You guys think fast. You guys understand better. You guys have deeper demands from the very word logic. You have deeper demands. This word logic is an actual taboo in Pakistan and India. You know what I'm saying? You need to understand that. And that's why I'm thinking next Muslim leadership is coming from overseas. I'm sorry, but that's the probability that anyone would be a fool to deny that. And I hope it comes from overseas Muslims. I swear to God. Because if it comes from within, I know the kind of acumen and intellect which is harboring inside the streets of Pakistan. Are you kidding me with this one? This is going to be a big problem if the current understanding that the central definition of Islam that we are carrying, if that comes into play, then people who actually, I would die for the system of implementation of Islam. And I would be afraid, you know what, this is going to ruin the very fabric of the next 500 years. People are not going to come to Islam because of, you know, whatever, the way they actually look at it. And it's not just my opinion. Very strict classical Muslims with sane enough minds have already written about this, not just in distant past, as far as 2 years ago. I was just reading this book from Hamid Kamaluddin, amazing book, or a booklet, or whoever reinterpreted his journals. I mean, and I was thinking, okay, wait, you know, there is genuine criticism about the way Muslims inside Pakistan, India, and wherever Muslim world, they're looking at the way, or the psychological construct of Islam inside the minds of the current day Muslim living in the Muslim world. And of course, that's panning out in overseas Muslims as well, because that's where we're all from, right? I mean, we're from here. So, but since you guys are traveled, you guys have bigger and better perspectives, your aperture is bigger, you bring in more light to understand the same things differently. That's why you have higher acumen. It's not like, that, people here are not smart enough. They are smart people, but, you cannot deny the obvious. There's a big difference between English boys and girls living in Manchester and Bristol and English Muslim boys and girls living in Manchester versus, I'm talking about the 15-year-olds and 20-year-olds and kids of 15 and 20 in Miyawali, and as far as Multan and even in Lahore and Islamabad. I'm sorry, there's a big difference the way they look at things.
I
You know what I'm
got your point that while living in abroad, then we can, make a bigger impact to the people who are living
Inside
in Pakistan.
inside our own zones. I need you to see the Jewish model is so workable. I'm not saying it's the best model. I swear, it's so workable.
First
You know what? The
comment,
Jewish.
sorry to cut you. So the first comment when we will do that, we will get that you are living abroad, and it is easier that you can say that. You are not living here in Pakistan. You do not know any such thing that we are facing.
Gotta build
This will be the
Pakistan.
first
Nah,
thing
see.
that we will get. Then
So
we are
now,
not making an example for them. While living among them and doing the such thing, and giving them the right path. By being a
them.
role model.
I don't do pronouns. Who are you calling them?
People living in Pakistan.
You're not giving them the right example. You're giving them everything. You're giving them acumen. You're giving them intellect. You're giving them knowledge. That's where it should come from. It's the other way around right now. Overseas Muslims are, I swear to you, sick enough they're so sickened, they're ill, that they have GO and ARY in every house in England, America, and Canada. These overseas Pakistanis are, obsessed that they have to go to the bottom of the barrel. Muslims in Pakistan and in America and Canada and England, even in Denmark, places I've been to, any house you walk into, it's like walking into Lahore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
that's
Gulbarga's house. It's like,
Yeah,
what the
that's
hell is going on with you guys?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to pick a Pakistani TV, why did you pick the worst of them all? I mean, you want to dumb down everybody? What's the point of being in Germany and France and England and Norway if you had to listen to Geo and ARY, for God's sakes? I mean, that's why I'm telling you, these last two generations, they were really without. I'm telling you this. This is something that, and the arrogance that reeks from their tones. This is so appalling, because we are ruining the very fabric of the minds of our kids. Every house I walked into, I'm not giving you a small number here. I'm talking about like 6, 7, 8 families a week I used to visit every day. I used to go to a different house. I'm thinking, what's going on with you guys? I mean, a Pakistani TV channel in my house. So it was a shocking thing that, as soon as this cable, this satellite television thing came in, Pakistanis just tuned right in. I mean, what happened to CNN and BBC, for God's sake? I mean, if you had to, go that way, well, at least you could have just flipped from Geo to, BBC once a month for just 10 minutes, but nope. They're not gonna, and that's the bigger delta between kids right now in their 15, 20s. They don't really connect with their folks anymore because their folks never left Pakistan. They live in Germany, but they didn't leave Pakistan. They're, working in, Frankfurt, but they're thinking in, Lahore and Quetta, and they're thinking, and they're still in those zones. And they somehow call it the Muslim identity. Like Geo is going to set your Muslim identity? Really?
No,
Geo?
it's not.
Yeah, or ARY is going to check your Muslim identity. Every house you go to, Nawaz Sharif versus Pakistan. What's the word? Imran Khan. Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan. And every old man or Pakistani, or old women literally, they know the names of every damn minister, their secretaries, the senators. It's like, you know what? You know, if somebody had to really ruin a nation, they would not have done a better job from the outside. We did it from our own selves, you know, from our own parents. Old women, you know, like 70-year-old women, Pakistanis living in New York, in
Sir,
Toronto, in Vancouver.
it's not
They
their
know, you know
own
what?
fault.
The home minister, or they don't call it home. The Bijli ka Wazir Falan Niazi hai, to Falan, you know, Shirazi. And I'm like, are you kidding me? How do you know that?
Sir, I have to
In
disagree.
Hydro, literally, you know the minister for Hydro in Pakistan. You never even went to Pakistan. Last 20 years, you haven't been to Pakistan. How do you know all of these names? Because they're getting this tuition and they're addicted to it. Every morning, these old folks wake up, they go to Tim Hortons for whatever work. As soon as they have a break, they just come back home. All of a sudden, first thing they do is they're just ogling at the remotes, you know, just trying to put Geo or ARY on. And I'm thinking, what happened here? Amazing marketing, man. I gotta give credit to this Geo guy, you know what I'm saying? Whoever owns it, or this ARY guy. He is, I mean, this should be in Guinness Book, and this should be in Harvard Business School. This is not common in any other nation, I'm telling you.
Sir, this happened in the Musharraf time, you know, when we got the bunch of news channels and all, and we were having so much things happening in our surrounding,
These
and you
old
know, they
folks,
got the
no,
platform
I
and
don't
they
buy that.
just
I'll tell you.
so
I know. Let me ask you a question. When Musharraf was here, he was here for what, 10 years, right? These old folks were not in Pakistan at that time. You know, how did they all call each other up? Because there was no WhatsApp group of all Pakistanis, right? There's not Pakistan.com website which says, you know what, today we're all gonna, you know, uphold the belief of turning Geo and ARY in our homes. I don't know how it happened. It happened.
because we
You
did
know,
not have any other option. Do you have any other, remember any option between 2000 and 2010 where people can turn on the TV and watch anything else from ARY, Geo, and Dunia, you know? Do you have any other option that people could have watched other than Peace TV, you know? But Peace TV was not
no,
there.
this is the
Do
generation
you
that
remember
made.
any other option people could have watched?
I'll tell you what the other option is. These are the same old folks who grew up on Indian movies, man. Same television sets when they were in Pakistan. All they did was Amitabh Bachchan and, you know what, Madhuri Dixit's. Oh, they were addicted to it. As soon as they went out, all of a sudden they jumped right into Geo and ARY. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is what's the, you know, at the core of the rusted foundation of our Pakistani nation. That this last two generations, they really did it for us. You know what I'm saying? They made sure that, you know what, and you know what, for the sake of spirituality, they're going to those other channels, you know, in the early morning, you know, times, they just put it on this QTV and all of that stuff, just so that they can convince themselves that, you know what, it's the beginning of the morning. So, and they keep on flipping on the, you know, those new channels during the break in QTV programming. So this is you know what, I'll tell you where I'm hurting. I'll tell you where I'm hurting. You are who you are. You cannot change the way you behave because it comes from within, right? From within, inside you. And if somebody claims that, you know what, I am spiritually a Muslim and it's within me, and I'm going to die a Muslim and I'm going to uphold the values of Islam, but I don't know nothing about it. You know, if you ask names of any 7 Sahaba, these old folks won't be able to do the math on that one. You know what I'm saying? And they keep on giving pep talks and lectures and even quizzing their own kids on Islam. And those kids are like, you know what, you're the one to talk. You know what, you guys literally would fail on basics of the same quiz you keep giving me, because I've never seen you actually reading or trying to understand or holding an Islamic debate for more than 2 minutes before you say, you know what, just because I'm saying it, just shut up and do whatever I'm telling you to. That's their go-to statement to their kids. in the 80s, in the 90s. I've been there, so I know. So I'm just saying, kids know. And they don't know because it's on their smart screens, because their smart screens are always filled with GeoRY. Kids know because of their cell phones. They're looking at Islamic content on their cell phones because their big screens are filled up by daddy's Geo time and, mommy's ARY time. And that's
I
the
agree.
problem.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
So if
But
kids are actually, going to Islamic content through YouTube, that's quite a big leap, That's
yeah,
quite a leap. These kids really had to construct a zone of Islam in their own bedrooms, in their own cell phones, because the living rooms, was prime time Pakistan television. So it's a
so coming back to the question, the third part was that how we are going to implement Islam in our society. Yeah, yeah.
the way Jews are doing it in Israel.
So
That's how.
So that's for that I feel responsibility to go back to Pakistan, and that's how what I understood from Dr. Srar, that first you implement that in yourself, then in your family, then in your society, then you can present a complete society to all the non-Muslim world. Like, come and see that this is
I'll
the
tell
thing
you
that we
something.
have to,
Okay. Ahmad, I'll tell you. If overseas Muslims decide that we're going to construct an Islamic system in Pakistan, it will be constructed 10 years, even 20 years ahead of time compared to when local Pakistanis are going to actually try and create a revolution. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's the revolution I want. Your knowledge set should come back home, not you guys. Your finances should come back home. Your resource, not you guys. That's how Jews are doing it, and they're doing an amazing job, even though Israel actually, in their own book, is actually propagating to all Jews that the Messiah will never ever come until all Jews come back to Israel. That's their actual doctrine. I'm quoting word to word Ezekiel. Okay, I'm quoting every rabbi. Every rabbi knows that. They're all making this whole movement to ensure that most or all Jews should come back to Israel. And Jews are never going to come back to Israel because, they're well placed inside. They come and visit. They're never going to live in. That's what Israel is trying to do. They're trying to settle, make settlements, make Israel, Tel Aviv look attractive enough at that same level where Jews in New York would not feel outside New York if they land in Israel. Okay, if anything, they should feel better. And that's the drive that Tel Aviv has. And that's why Tel Aviv is progressing so fast. That's the same technique. Understand the psychology here. They're trying to settle the same set standards because they know that if they don't have the same standards of life in Tel Aviv, Jews in Frankfurt, Jews in Manchester, Jews in Toronto, Jews in New York, in California are not going to come back. 83% of all Jews live in 3 countries. You know that? Outside Israel. 83%. That's what they had to do. They have an easy game here. We, as Pakistanis, we know that we're spread everywhere. But most of our Pakistanis are in those countries which don't really call the shots on the, the Arabian countries, in African countries, Australia. Canada does not have that many, but, okay, Canada. They don't call the shots. You know what I'm saying? England called the shots, and America called the shots. And a few other, like Scandinavia, it's calling the shots now. Okay, so these countries, wherever Pakistanis are living, I need you to understand, if Pakistan starts to compete on the standards at which Scandinavia is set, then okay, you can come back. But until that happens, you need to keep training Pakistanis through your acumen, the locals. Make sure you understand that. Knowledge has to come from the outside in. We are actually gaining it from the inside out through Geo and ARY. That's why I keep, telling everyone in Pakistan to turn their televisions off. Otherwise, this is going to continue for the next generation. And now, you know what? I started noticing that people in their 20s and early 30s are also into this ARY, Geo game. They're looking into those horrible, low-class humor that flows through these channels. Even their sitcoms are at a level where if you have to destroy a child's sense of humor and pull down the class of the way a mind can think, that's when you have to, keep him tuned into this sort of programming, in all of these channels, you know what I'm saying? TV channels. So a kid is going to do what his daddy's going to do, right? A girl is going to do what her mommy's been doing all her life. That's psychology 101. So understand how big of a problem we are creating. We have to rebel against this very psychology of our parents, especially in North America and Western Europe. Okay, these are the places that matter, and in Scandinavia. These are the places that matter. People in Korea, people in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, that's the bottom of the barrel. The kind of people who go to Dubai from Pakistan, never going to call the shots in Pakistan anyway. Most of them are survivors, Most of them are, practically there so that they can actually, because they're dying here, literally, out of, there's a certain socioeconomic class that actually moves in certain countries. So if you can, draw the curve, you can see the landscape of the Pakistanis and even Indians when they are actually choosing a country to migrate to. You can see that big difference between the kind of people who want to achieve in certain realms of knowledge and, even at a social level. You can see the difference in the way these people have defined their worldview. So most of these people who want to go to Dubai and UAE wouldn't even choose to go to America. You know what I'm saying? They would be afraid to go to America. You need to understand that. There's a hard choice between choosing between countries inside Scandinavia by Pakistani students, There's a very hard line between choosing going to Denmark or Finland or Norway or nobody goes to Iceland, right? Still Scandinavia. Nobody wants to go to Iceland, of course, unless, of course, he's at a certain socioeconomic class. Nobody would want to just say, you know what, that's my first choice. And, so on and so forth for so many other countries. And that's exactly how you should look at the psychology of the people who are inside America or England and France and Germany. They are the places which are going to call the shots because of the kind of cultural psychology that they have. And I need you guys to adopt that psychology. I need you guys to understand the power that you might have or strength that you might gain and the development that they're going to give you regardless of who you are. And I need you to channel it back home, not just the foreign exchange, but the transfer of technology, that psychology. I'm talking about the intellect here. Transfer that technology back home along with the money. Literally with the money. That's what the Jewish model is, and we need that. Okay, so and when I came to Pakistan, I realized that what I would have served this nation better with the dollars I was sending back home. And then I was like, what? That's not going to cut it. That's just not going to cut it, because most of the people who are inside the religious realm are at a SEC B, SEC C, and most of them between B and C or C and D. Sorry. So we need to develop a lot more infrastructure in the minds of the people who are pro-religion. That's how religion is constructed. The system is constructed. Because SCCA is anti-Islam, allergic to Islam in Pakistan. We need to argue and debate. They're looking up to you guys in Germany and in England and in America, in Canada, the SCCA of Pakistan. Okay, so you need to understand which battle to pick and how to win those fights. That's a far more practical and a formidable solution. Jews have done that regardless of SECs. Well, I'm pretty sure because there were no Jews before, before Israel. So we have Muslims in Pakistan, and that's what I keep telling Indian Muslims to do as well. I swear to you, my actual ask is from Indian Muslims to do the same. We got to pick a place and build it up. They picked a place from their book. Okay. No, we can't, pick a place from our book because there's no place in our book. Every place on the globe is our place in our book. So we got to pick from wherever we can and try and construct the set of knowledge, and then expertise and acumen, and then the real sense. That's how, the system is done. That's how system implementation is done. And every Jew is proud to be sending it to Israel. They take pride in this. They own it. They literally own the very fact that, every single dollar I'm going to make, I'm going to send to Tel Aviv. This is what I am here for on this planet. And I'm really, I respect that about Jews. They do what they believe in. We are the Muslims who literally do everything against whatever they say that they believe in. Okay, so most of the Pakistanis would rather take out every single penny out of Pakistan and spend it in Toronto and, on King Street. Literally. That's the dream of most Pakistanis. Exact opposite dream of every Jew. Okay, so I'm talking about
Yeah, sir,
how
it makes sense, but I am still a little confused, but I got your point 100%. I'm just thinking about the practicality of it, if it is really possible, because we have
that's the only way it's going to be possible as far as I can think. That's the only way. I'm telling you, I have been through all streets of Pakistan. I'm telling you, it's my country, it's our country. I'm telling you, this is our people. I've been through every street. Okay, every step I take, I lose an ounce of hope. Every person I talk to, I lose an ounce of hope because of this very lack of acumen. Okay, I never used to go through that in Toronto. I swear to you, or in America, I never used to go through this. I used to think, because there are Pakistanis and Indians I talk to, right? They're Muslims I talk to, and I'm thinking, you know what? We not only speak in the same grammar, but we have the same sort of intent. We want to really, lift up because you're in England or Germany, wherever you are. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah,
You're in Germany. Yeah, so you own up to a Muslim identity in Germany because you have to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like you have a choice there. In Pakistan, you don't have that need of carrying the Muslim identity anymore. Yeah, if anything, people are shy calling themselves Muslims because they want to be cool. And, Islam is become an uncool, perception inside Pakistan. I'm talking about Pakistan. Oh, bahut Maulvi ho gaya ye, ya. You know what? Iska matlab hai dumb hoga. Literally, that's what they think. Iska matlab hai pendu hoga ye. Literally. This is what Muslims have started to think inside Pakistani households. Mothers are like, Dadi kyun rakhi hai mere bete ne? Literally, that's the frown on the Pakistani mother's face. I'm talking about the regular mother, okay? Not the Maulvi's daughter. सब कुछ बैलेंस करो दीन और दुनिया बैलेंस करते होते हैं okay you got to get grades and you got to get those jobs and you got to get those girls and then you got to get Jannah as well. That's what the Pakistani mother model is.
Yeah, makes sense. So I have one more question, then I will, stop. And my second question is about the language of the content of the IMS. Will it going to be Urdu or English? Because
80-20, 80 English, 20 Urdu, inshallah. But inside my IMS meetings, it's going to be all Urdu.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Last question, sir. Last question. I'll just stay in England. Oh, sorry, I was in Germany. Umar, England. I've spoken to too many girls today, so I'm going to pick up a last boy.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu, sir. Give it in English, sir, please.
Oh, I'm very sorry about that because when I see you, I feel a Pakistani is there, so it's a bit difficult for me when I see a Pakistani communicate in English. But anyway, sorry for taking your time. My question is that why suicide is prohibited in Islam when there is an evidence that the companion of the Holy Prophet performed the janazah of one of the companions who committed suicide.
Performing a janazah is, you're actually asking me that if you can perform a janazah of somebody, then however he dies should also be okay? That's what you're asking me?
But the janaza is always performed of a Muslim, right? And the scholars, all the scholars say that if you commit a suicide, you are kafir and the janaza should not be performed. If there is evidence.
I don't know what kind of scholars are roaming around in the streets of England.
No, the
Scholarship
scholars
does
are
not.
not in the streets of England, to be honest. I'm talking about the scholars in all over the Muslim world, especially
No,
from
that's
Pakistan and India. They say if
suicide.
you commit a suicide, you are a kafir.
No,
Okay,
nobody's.
leave that thing, leave the scholars. Tell me the logic. If I wanted to kill myself, why I can't?
Okay, though that's a
Because
different
I need
question.
to go
Let
to
me.
another dimension.
I'll answer both the
I will
questions.
go
Don't worry.
to another dimension. I will go to I will go to another dimension and I will see Almighty Allah. I will be with Him. I will get rid of all this fuss in this world. So why? I'm not allowed to kill myself, to go to another dimension.
Let me answer both of the questions. Let me answer the second question later, first, and the first question later, because that's a simpler answer to give. What's your name, sir? Umar, right? Umar. Umar, how old are you? Umar, can you hear
Yes,
me?
I'm with you.
Yeah, how old are you, sir?
Sir, I'm 48 years old. I think
Okay.
I'm the only one in your IMS who is 48 years old.
Okay. I'm pretty sure there are many. We have about
But you said
25,000 people now.
okay.
Okay. So don't worry. Umar, in Islam, you asked me, why is it prohibited to kill yourself? Right?
Yes.
So in Islam, it is prohibited to kill anybody, including yourself. Okay? Any human
Right.
being. You cannot kill any human being or any animal. Okay? So that includes you, yourself. Okay? Now, to answer your first question, suicide is a sin. Okay? Probably one of the gravest sins, not the gravest, but probably one of the gravest sins, but still a sin. Okay? And if you commit a sin, you're a sinful person. In this case, you are sinful because of the way you killed yourself. Okay? Because it's murder, right? It's plain cold murder. And worse than murder because you took your own life. But any murderer in Islam is still a Muslim. Okay? He's going to be punished there, and he should be punished here as well. But in this case, the murderer has killed himself, so he cannot be punished here. But the punishment is still within the folds of Islam, right? So he's going to die a Muslim and should be punished when he's going to be raised up from the dead on the day of judgment and within the grave as well. But just because somebody commits a sin, a zina, or a murder, does not take him outside the folds of Islam. Okay, so you're not gonna call him a kafir just like that. Okay, and even if somebody's using this terminology, understand how or what kind of context this terminology can or cannot be used. And was this kafir word could be used for anyone who denies even saying, I'm not going to pray today. That's also kufr. You are actually refuting a direct commandment of Allah. That's kufr. Okay, so that's why in that context they might be calling him kafir. Okay, so I hope you get the bigger part of both of the questions straight in your mind now. So keep it simple and keep it light. G. I think this is it. I have 3 more minutes. Shortest question possibly, please, anybody. Serotonergic question. Okay, serotonergic question. Shortest question, please.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalam.
Sir, I saw you in a dream and I emailed that dream on your email address, sahil.adeem@sourcecode.com.pk.
Please do not tell the dream in public. Okay.
Yes, sir, I'm aware of that.
Okay, I'll read it. Allah Ta'ala sahi rakhe. Jate jate dara diya subah subah. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, my question is, sir, you said in a session that spirituality is as important as Sharia. So, what perception do we acquire on Islamic spirituality? And we know the spirituality ignite the fire inside us. But in today's
मुझे उन्होंने
definition of
अनम्यूट किया है इसलिए
spirituality,
मैंने वो सॉरी
but in today's definition of spirituality, like it inhibits activism. So how can I connect spirituality to Nahi Anil Munkar?
No, I don't know what you think about spirituality. Why would it inhibit activism? If anything, that's gonna put more serenity in your communication, and people are gonna listen to you more because you'll be acting out those words. That's what spirituality is. You will be connected with your own self, and you will be very collected and composed in your actions, and your words will matter and mean more and carry more substance in comparison to somebody who's not really spiritual. He's just trying to talk to the brain and trying to convince through just merely words. Okay, so spirituality is the flesh and blood of Islam. Okay, flesh and blood. You cannot be, a Muslim, especially a preacher, unless you're spiritually, intact. That's the best word for it. Okay. Ji, who was और कौन unmute पे?
जी Sahil bhai, this is me,
one more minute.
Astaghfar. You unmuted me. Yeah. Thank you so much. I just wanted to ask you, what is this strategy of IMS for people who are Muslims? I know we're trying to connect Muslims all over the world, but they're Muslims, but they are far, far away from Islam, and they're kind of bored. They're not interested if you're trying to have a conversation with conversation with them, and if you're trying to even answer their most basic questions, they listen to you. I've shared a lot of content, and most of my circle is filled with
I'm going to give you a quick answer to everybody. Sure. Okay, people who are not close to Islam and you want to approach them, you got to go to that place which is close to them. Okay, that's it. And you go to that place which is close to them, and then you actually talk about the actual construction of logic through the language of that place, wherever they are. Because if you're not close to Islam, he's close to something else, or somewhere else. Okay, you go there.
They're after
don't
money.
Force people.
I don't know how. I keep telling them that you don't have to worry about risk because Allah Ta'ala has promised that He is gonna ensure that
listen, that's it. They're worried about risk. So tell them that, okay, let's just worry about risk. You go to that place. That's what I'm saying. Go over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you're not speaking their language, so for the first question, I hope you were listening. Fear. Now, you've actually told me that this is what their fear is. Now, go to the fear. Go be with their fear.
All they care about is money. All they care about is that.
Or they're afraid of not having it. Huh? That's what their fear is. Right?
Yeah, of course.
So, so you go to the fear, the state of fear, and make sure you experience that, and you show them that you're also in that you can feel that experience. You can understand that kind of fear. Okay. And as soon as you're going to do that, then they're going to start to listen to you. You can't just stand outside and, keep lecturing them, and nobody gets lectured out of fear. Okay. Make sure you understand that there is no human being who's designed to be lectured out of fear. We're not designed to be lectured out of our fears. Okay. You want to do that to a child, to a 95-year-old man or woman? Try and do that. You'll see that no one's going to be lectured out of his own fear, especially those deeper fears. Okay.
How do we get them out of it then?
You go there and you hold them and you bring them out. You go there, you go to the same fear. Make sure they know that you're experiencing the same fear. Okay?
Well, I
You
am,
should-
but I'm trying to get near to Allah Ta'ala, but they are not ready to do it. All they care about is making money.
Did you hear? You're not going. Did I just say that you have to go near to Allah? No, go near those people. Aska, you gotta be with that guy, that girl, whoever you're talking
So we
about.
cannot abandon them. We have to be with them, but they're not
In that,
listening. Yeah,
in the zone of fear. How old are you, Aska?
I'm 30. I'm 30. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to reiterate this because I'm trying to keep it simple enough so that you can understand it. If I'm afraid of losing money or not having enough money, then I need someone who's going to understand that kind of state of mind. I don't need a lecture to get out of it. I need a person who I can relate to and try and see what his technique is that he's pulling himself out of this state that I'm actually sharing with this guy, right? No lecture is going to bring me out of this state. I need a guy who's going to, walk in front of me and take me out, and I'm going to follow his footsteps. That's called experiential nurturing. You're going to hold his hand or her hand and then pull him out. Okay, heart to heart. That's how fear is done. How dealing with fear is done. Sorry. Okay.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Especially if you keep lecturing somebody who's in some sort of a fear, that's the worst thing you can do to this guy, because now he's going to hate everything that you represent, because that shows lack of empathy, Aska. You got to be empathetic with those people, especially people who are afraid of something. Okay? I'm telling you to be empathetic to the people who are running through fascinations, for God's sakes, and you're actually, divorcing somebody who's actually in the state of fear. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. I think we're gonna call it a night now. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna give 10 seconds to the chat, see if there's something really urgent. Please mute your microphones till then. Okay. I have a question. Don't have the right time. Okay, I can't. Hey, Subhan. Here you go.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalam. Quick question, please.
सर मैं पूछना चाह रहा था आपसे कि नार्सिसिस्टिक पर्सनालिटीज जो होती हैं उसको इस्लाम किस तरह से एड्रेस करता है, और अगर एक इंडिविजुअल है जो कि नार्सिसिस्टिक पर्सनालिटीज के ट्रेट्स रखता है तो बेनिफिट किस तरह से कर सकता है उनसे, क्योंकि वो नार्सिसिस्टिक पर्सनालिटीज होती तो बहुत हाई परफॉर्मिंग है, लेकिन लोग उनकी प्रेजेंस में कंफर्टेबल फील नहीं करते.
Two assumptions you took. दोनों assumptions गलत हैं. एक तो narcissism does not create high performance of any sort. Most high performers become narcissistic, but narcissism does not create high performance.
Confidence पे create.
अगला क्या क्वेश्चन था? Sorry. इस्लाम किबर कहता है इसको, क्या? किबर इज रऊनत है, उसके अंदर किबर है. इस्लाम इज लाइक एंटी नार्सिसिज्म, राइट? इस्लाम अपने दुनिया में किसी भी ताकूत को तोड़ने आया, नार्सिसिज्म ताकूत हो जाता है. ओके, की तरफ लेके जाता है. ओके, सो आई होप यू गेट दैट.
सर लेकिन
لیکن
سر لیکن اس کا ریپرکشن اگر کسی بندے کے پاس یہ ٹریٹس ہیں تو وہ کس طرح سے مینیج کرے گا ان کو اچھی جگہ پہ کس طرح سے لگا سکتے ہیں؟ کیونکہ وہ سیلف کانفیڈنس اور آپ کو ایگو کا بوسٹ تو دیتے ہیں، لیکن وہ ساتھ ساتھ کبھی کبھی کچھ اچھے کام بھی کروا جاتے ہیں. جیسے بندہ سب لوگوں کی رسپانسبلٹیز لینے کا اگر اس کو وہ ہے کہ یہ سب ایسی ہیں، میں سب کی رسپانسبلٹی لوں گا، تو ہو سکتا ہے کہ آپ کے تھرو وہ کچھ نہ کچھ اچیو بھی کر لے اس چیز سے جو اس نے سیلف کانفیڈنس اپنا مینیفیسٹ کرا ہے.
پروناؤن بہت یوز کر رہے ہیں، میں سمجھا نہیں ہوں، مگر میں بتاتا ہوں مجھے کیا سمجھ آئی ہے کہ ایک نارسسسٹک پرسنالٹی کو لوگوں کا ذمہ لینے کا شوق ہوتا ہے، تو وہ اس کو فائدہ بھی تو ہو رہا ہے اس کے نارسسزم کی وجہ سے، وہ لوگوں کا ذمہ لے رہا ہے. That's what you're saying?
جی ایگزیکٹلی.
Okay, where are you getting this data from? نارسسزم لوگوں کا ذمہ نہیں لیتا، لوگوں سے کہتا ہے کہ میرا ذمہ، میرے تابع رہو. اوکے، he's taking نارسسزم کا آپ نے نا کوئی ایک ذہن میں ایک خاص کیریکٹر رکھا ہوا ہے جس کے اندر کچھ اچھی باتیں بھی ہے اور نارسسزم بھی ہے. وہ پرفارمنس بھی دکھا رہا ہے، وہ کانفیڈنٹ بھی ہے، وہ لوگوں کا ذمہ بھی لے رہا ہے اور کام بھی کچھ کر لیتا ہے اچھے بھلے، اور پھر اینڈ میں کہتا ہے میری تعریفیں کرتے رہو یا میرے علاوہ کوئی نہیں کرے گا، یہ میں ہی ہوں جو ہوں. ٹھیک ہے، سو آئی ایم اسیومنگ دیٹس واٹس گوئنگ آن بیکاز یو آر کنکلوڈنگ کہ کانفیڈنس بھی نارسسزم کی وجہ سے آ رہا ہے، اس کی پرفارمنس بھی نارسسزم کی طرف سے آ رہی ہے. نو، ایگزیکٹ الٹا ہو رہا ہے because of the fact that he was not morally built really well, constructed really well. بچپن میں تربیت ٹھیک نہیں ہوئی اس کی، تو جس طرح مرضی وہ جس طرح regular human beings, they gain their competence and their confidence, and then they, because of the victories that they get and performances, their performances are improving compared to others. اینڈ دین چونکہ اس کا مورل فائبر صحیح طرح کنسٹرکٹ نہیں ہوتا اور سائیکولوجیکلی بیلنس نہیں تھا، تو اس نے بلڈوز کر دیا سب کو. اینڈ اب ظاہر ہے وہ مینیفیسٹیشن آف نارسسزم از رائٹ دیئر، ایوری ون از سیئنگ اٹ. سو یہ اس وجہ سے نہیں ہو رہا کہ وہ نارسسسٹک ہے، نارسسزم اس لیے ہوا ہے کہ اس کی مورل ڈیولپمنٹ نہیں ہوئی بھی تھی. باقی یہ کام ریگارڈلیس آف نارسسزم ہوئے، اس کا کانفیڈنس بلڈ ہوا ہے اینڈ سو آن سو فورتھ. اوکے، سو آئی ہوپ یو گیٹ دا. اب اس کو کیسے ٹھیک کرنا ہے، اس کو فیڈ بیک دینا ہے، اور اس کو بروٹل فیڈ بیک دینا پڑا تو وہ بھی دینا ہے کہ بھیا یہ نارسسزم چمکتا تب ہے جب تک اس کے آس پاس چاپلوس رہتے ہیں یا ڈرپوک رہتے ہیں. دو ہی طرح کے لوگ ہوتے ہیں جو نارسسزم کو برداشت کرتے ہیں، ایک چاپلوس اپنا فائدہ اٹھا رہے ہوتے ہیں، تعریفیں کر رہے ہوتے ہیں، اور ایک ڈرپوک اور بزدل. یہ دونوں کا اسلام سے زیادہ بڑے کینسر یہ ہیں. نارسسسٹک پرسنالٹی اتنا بڑا کینسر نہیں ہے اسلام میں جتنا ایک بزدل مسلمان اور ایک چاپلوس مسلمان. ٹھیک ہے، یہ منافق ہے چاپلوس، اور یہ بزدل جو ایک کینسر ہے. اوکے، یہ زیادہ بڑا نقصان پہنچا رہا ہے بزدل. منافق بھی اتنا بڑا نقصان نہیں پہنچا رہا جتنا یہ بزدل مسلمانوں کو، اسلام کو نقصان پہنچا رہا ہے. ٹھیک ہے، یہی ہے وہ لوگ جن کی وجہ سے ظالم دندناتے پھرتے ہیں، بیکاز یہ لوگ ان کی ہر بیجا حرکت کو ایسے قابل قبول کرتے ہیں کہ بس مجھے جان سے نہ مارنا، بس پلیز مجھے گھر سے نہ نکالنا، پلیز مجھے مراعات نہ کم کر دینا، پلیز. سو آن سو فورتھ. ڈرپوک، بزدل، سب کو مروا دیتے ہیں، سب کو. منافق اپنے آپ کو بچاتا ہے، کوئی مرے یا نہ مرے اسے فرق نہیں پڑتا، منافق اپنے آپ کو بچا رہا ہوتا ہے. بزدل سب کو مروا رہا ہوتا ہے. بزدل اتنا بڑا کینسر ہے. بزدل مسلمان عورت ہو یا مرد ہو، نہ اس کی دوستی اچھی، نہ اسے کسی قسم کا رشتہ ٹھیک، وہ مروائے گا سب. ڈرپوک اور بزدل کسی بھی گروپ میں ڈالیں گے اس گروپ کو مروا دے گا، چاہے وہ اسلام کے گروپ میں ڈالیں، چاہے وہ خاندان کے گروپ میں ڈالیں، چاہے وہ دوستوں کے گروپ میں ڈالیں، چاہے وہ کسی جنگ میں فوجی کے طور پہ ڈالیں، چاہے وہ اسپورٹس میں ٹیم کے طور پہ ڈالیں. بزدل اتنا مطلب لویسٹ پارٹ آف دا ہیومن فائبر ہے. وہ اس کو کسی بھی لیول کے اوپر صرف نقصان دینے کے لیے آیا وہ. اوکے، سو اس کو ٹرین کریں کہ وہ مطلب آپ کی ماں بزدل ہو تو بچے تباہ کر دے گی، باپ بزدل ہو تو پورا خاندان تباہ ہو جائے گا، آپ کا دوست بزدل ہو آپ کو مروا دے گا. اسلام میں عمر بن خطاب رضی اللہ عنہ نے دعا کی اور مسجد نبی کے ممبر پہ. اوکے، انہوں نے کہا یا اللہ مجھے قوی کافر اور بزدل مومن کے شر سے بچائیں، قوی کافر اور بزدل مسلمان کے شر سے بچا. یہ حضرت عمر کی دعا ہے کہ یہ اتنا بڑا شر ہے کہ کبھی کافر ایک طرف وہ مار دے گا، مر جائیں گے، کبھی کافر کا ریم پہ جائے گا، مسلمان مر جائیں گے، اور بزدل مسلمان کیا ہوگا، مسلمان مر جائیں گے. اچھا سوچیں تو صحیح. مطلب میں کامن سینس کے تھرو آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں کہ بزدل کے ساتھ بزدل بندہ کرتا کیا ہے. ٹھیک ہے، تو اسلام بھی یہی بتا رہا ہے کہ کریج نہیں ہے، سوری آپ گروپ میں نہ آئے، اکیلے میں کہیں کسی درخت کے ساتھ اپنے آپ کو باندھے پوجا پاٹ کر لیں، مگر گروپ میں نہ آئے، کیونکہ گروپ کو مروا دیں گے آپ. کیونکہ انسان تو لگتے ہیں نا شکل صورت سے، باتوں سے بھی، تو پھر کیا ہوتا ہے توقعات بن جاتی ہیں، اور توقعات بن جاتی ہیں تو ہم کوئی نہ کوئی کام بھی ڈیپینڈنٹ کر دیتے ہیں آپ کے، اور اسی وقت پتہ چلتا ہے وہ بھائی صاحب اپنی بزدلی میں سب کو ڈبو گئے. اوکے سو آپ لڑکے ہیں بزدل ہیں، پتہ تو نہیں چلتا نا، شادی پہ تو بہادری نہیں لگتی تو لڑکی دے دیتے ہیں آپ کو، آپ ہی پورا خاندان مروا دیتے ہیں. آپ لڑکی ہیں، پتہ تو نہیں چلتا بزدل ہیں، بلکہ کئی دفعہ تو لگتا ہے اٹریکٹیو ہیں بزدل لڑکی، کیونکہ زیادہ حملہ نہیں کر رہی ہوتی. وہ الگ بات ہے. پوری نسل ورٹیکلی ایسی کھدائی کرتی ہے کہ نیچے 500 میل تک کا کنواں کھد جاتا ہے، اس کے اتنے بچے اتنے چھوٹے بونے پیدا ہوتے ہیں. سو یو نیڈ ٹو انڈرسٹینڈ ہاؤ بگ آف اے پرابلم دس از. کریج کی ٹریننگ نہیں دی تو سوری پھر اب نیکی کی ٹریننگ بھی نہ دینا، خدا کا واسطہ ہے. جس بچے کو کریج کی ٹریننگ نہیں دے رہے اس کو نیکی کا سبق دینا بند کر دیں، کیونکہ وہ نیکی کا سبق وہ لیتا ہے اور وہ کرتا کیا، وہ بیچارہ بزدل ماں باپ کا بچہ ہوتا ہے، نیکی کا سمجھ آ رہی ہے اس کو، بدی نظر آنا شروع ہوتی ہے، اور جیسے ہی بدی نظر آتی ہے اس کے دماغ کہتا ہے کہ کچھ کر اس بارے میں. اللہ نے ڈیزائن میں ون نہیں منکر ڈالا ہوا ہے نا، بغیر ڈیزائن کے تو حکم نہیں آتا نا. جو چیز اللہ نے ڈیزائن میں ڈالی ہے وہی قرآن میں ڈالی ہے. جو انسان کے ڈیزائن میں کیمسٹری ڈالی ہے اسی کا مینول قرآن میں ڈالا ہوا ہے. جب اللہ نے کہا امر بالمعروف تو ہمارے دماغ کے اندر امر بالمعروف کی مشین لگی ہوئی ہے. اوکے وہ کیا ہے، اس کو ایمپتھی بولتے ہیں، کہ میرے ساتھ وہی ہو، میں لوگوں کے ساتھ وہی کروں جو میں چاہتا ہوں لوگ میرے ساتھ کریں. امر بالمعروف ہمارے مشین ہے. ہر انسان کو، چاہے وہ غیر مسلم ہے چاہے دہری، اللہ کا دشمن ہی صحیح، چاہتا وہ یہی ہے کہ میرے ساتھ وہی سلوک کرو یار، میں لوگوں کے ساتھ وہی سلوک کروں گا کہ جو میں چاہتا ہوں لوگ میرے ساتھ سلوک کریں. بیسک ایمپتھی تھی. عمل بالمعروف کی مشین ہے اور ون نہیں عن المنکر کی. کیوں؟ کیونکہ میرے بچوں کے ساتھ کوئی ظلم کر رہا تو میں چاہتا ہوں لوگ آ کے پکڑ کے مار دیں ظالم کو. یس، تو پھر میرے سے بھی یہی توقع رکھی جائے کہ میں بھی ظلم دیکھوں تو پکڑ کے مار دوں، اس کو ختم کر دوں. ون نہیں عن المنکر میری ڈیزائن میں ہے. اب میرے ڈیزائن میں اللہ نے ڈال دیا میرے جسم میں، یس ڈال دیا ہے. میں آپ کو سینس کے تھرو بتائیں نا، آپ کے ساتھ جب ہوگا تو آپ کو بھی ون نہیں منکر چاہیے ہوگا نا. تو اس کا مطلب ہے کہ قرآن پاک آپ کی مشین کا مینول اللہ تعالیٰ آیتوں میں بتا رہے ہیں. وہ سائنس ہمیں سمجھ نہیں آ رہی اور ہم قرآن پاک کو برکات کی کتاب سمجھ کے بیٹھ گئے، حالانکہ قرآن پاک ہمارے اس جسم کی سائنس کو بتا رہے ہیں. یہ مشین ہے، یہ لو مینول، کون سا بٹن دبانا ہے، کیا بٹن دباؤ گے تو کون سا پرزا کیا حرکت کرے گا، قرآن پاک صاف صاف بتا رہا ہے. آپٹیمم مشین اس کا فیول تک بتا دیے. اب بزدل بندہ جو ہے نا، بزدل وہ کر کیا رہا ہے، وہ اس کی نیکی کے سبق اماں ابا دے دیتے ہیں، بیٹا جھوٹ بولنا منع ہے، رشوت نہ لیا، رشوت لینا، کلاہما فی النار، کلاہما فی النار. اوکے کلاہما فی النار کیا مطلب؟ آگ میں سڑو تکلیف ہوتی ہے. ہاں ہمارے ڈیزائن میں آگ میں چڑھنے سے تکلیف، وی گیٹ ٹرامیٹائزڈ. اوکے جب ہمیں پتا ہوتا ہے کہ یار بدی جب ون نہیں منکر نہیں کروں گا تو آگ میں سڑوں گا. جی ہاں. اب وہ ہوتا کیا، وہ برائی دیکھتا ہے، ابا نے بتایا تھا برائی ہے، بتایا تو صحیح ہوتا ہے، اما نے بھی بتایا تھا صحیح بتایا ہوتا ہے، مگر شجاعت نہیں سکھائی ہوتی. وہ دیکھ رہا ہوتا ہے، اندر کی مشین چیخے مارے ہوتے کہ کچھ کر، کیونکہ ڈیزائن میں ہمارے، اور وہ کچھ کرنے سے ڈر رہا ہوتا ہے. اور وہ پھر جو اپنی عزت نفس تار کرتا ہے نا، اکیلے میں بیٹھتا ہے اور اپنے آپ کو طلاق دے دیتا ہے، اپنی انسانیت کو طلاق دیتا ہے کہ میرے سے نہیں ہو سکتا. اور وہ کیا کرتا ہے پھر، وی آل نو وہ کیا کرتا ہے. وہ پاکستان میں پھر جا کے ووٹ ڈالتا ہے اور اپنے جیسے پھر لوگ پارلیمنٹ ہاؤس سے باہر دیتا ہے، بیکاز اس کی عزت نفس کا تقاضا ہی ہے کہ اپنے جیسوں میں ہی رہے گا. اوکے سو دس از اے پیرنٹل پرابلم. اوکے اللہ بزدل نہیں پیدا کرتا، ورنہ ون نہیں المنکر کی آیت نہ نازل کرتا. اللہ بزدل نہیں پیدا کرتا، یہ ماں باپ بزدل بناتے ہیں. اور سمجھیں اس بات کو، اللہ تعالیٰ نے اگر ون نہیں المنکر کا فرض ہم پہ ڈالا ہوا ہے تو عام بندہ بھی کھڑا کرتا ہے، یا اللہ تو نے تو بنائی مجھے ایک کمزور ترین ایسی ہستی ہے، کہ ایسی مخلوق ہے کہ جو کہ سامنے سے جب برائی گزرتی تھی دبک کے اپنے بستر کے چھپ جاتا تھا. تو میرے پہ تو نہیں یہ والے سوال ہونے چاہیے، یہ تو بنتا تھا نا سوال پہ. مگر اللہ تعالیٰ نے کہا نہیں، میں نے تجھے اپنی فطرہ میں پیدا کیا ہے. اللہ نے خود بتایا، نبی اسلام نے کہا ہر انسان اللہ کی، ہر بچہ ہر انسان اللہ کی فطرہ میں پیدا ہوتا ہے. اس کا مطلب ہے امر بالمعروف ون نہی عن المنکر کی مشینری کے اندر انسٹالیشن ہوئی ہوئی ہے ہارڈ ویئر میں, باہر بٹن ہی نہیں لگے ہوئے, وہ ہارڈ ویئر آن ہی نہیں ہو سکتا. باہر بٹن کون لگاتا ہے؟ امی اور ابو. اوکے, وہ کیسے لگتے ہیں ہم سب کو پتا ہے, بہادری کیسے سکھائی جاتی ہے. آپ نے کبھی نوٹ نہیں کیا یہ جتنے بھی جو اسلامک اسکالر ہوتے ہیں وہ جو کہتے ہیں نا وہ جو نہیں یہ جہاد کا مطلب یہ نہیں ہوتا, وہ نہیں ہوتا, آپ بس جہاد بھی نفس کر لو, غلط حدیث سنا رہتے ہیں. ایسی کوئی حدیث نہیں ہے کہ بڑے جہاد کی طرف جائیں, جہاد بھی نفس اللہ کے نبی اسلام نے کہا, ہمیں بھی بتائے کہاں لکھا ہے, ورنہ ساحل ادیم ہر حدیث کوٹ کرتا ہے تو ضعیف ہو رہتی ہے. آپ لوگوں کی تمام یہ والی حدیث کہاں سے مل رہی ہے جو ہے ہی نہیں. آپ نے بھی سنی ہوگی, گروپ میں سب نے سنی ہوگی کہ ہم بڑے جہاد کی طرف جا رہے ہیں. کب ہوا تھا؟ غزوہ تبوک سے واپسی پہ, بلکہ غزوہ احزاب کا بھی نام لگایا ہوا ہے, ہم بڑے جہاد کی طرف جا رہے ہیں. کیسے؟ جب واپس آ رہے تھے مدینہ کہ ہم جہاد بن نفس کی طرف آ رہے ہیں. دیکھیں ذرا اس حدیث کی صحت, آپ کو پتہ چل جائے. اور وہ یہ کون سے علماء کرام ایسی بات کرتے ہیں پتہ کون ہے؟ جو کالج میں بھی ڈرپوک تھے, اسکول میں بھی ڈرپوک تھے, مدرسے میں بھی ڈرپوک تھے. کبھی بھی لڑائی ہوتی تھی پیچھے سے بھاگ جاتے تھے. یہ وہ لڑکا تھا جو کلاس فیلوز کے این اس وقت غائب ہوتا تھا جب کوئی لڑائی ہونے لگتی تھی. کہ پھر بڑے ہو کے ایسی آیتیں سناتا ہے, یہ ایسی حدیثیں بناتا ہے کہ بس یہ نہیں یہ اللہ اسلام میں کچھ نہیں ہے. کیونکہ اپنی عزت نفس کو دنیا میں پروجیکٹ کرنا ہماری مشین کا کام ہے. تو جس کی کریج ڈیولپ نہیں اس کو کیا اسلام سمجھ آنا, اس کو قرآن پاک کی وہ آیتیں نظر ہی نہیں آتی, ان کے اور مطلب نکال رہا ہوتا ہے. اب آپ کے سامنے تصویریں آئیں گی ان مولویوں کی بھی جو کہ جان کے اچانک کچھ آیتیں مس کر دیتے ہیں. تلاوت بھی کر رہے ہوتے ہیں نا, تب لیکچر میں بھی اچانک 2-3 آیتیں مس ہو رہتی ہے قرآن پاک کی اس صورت میں سے. آپ سوچتے ہیں یہ کیا ہوا, میرے قرآن میں تو 2-3 آیتیں لکھی ہوئی جگہ جہاں پہ آپ نے اسکپ کر دیا. میں نے ابھی عمران خان کشمیر گیا ہوا تھا, یہ جو مجھے نہیں پتا کتنا عرصہ پہلے کی بات ہے, جو لاسٹ ٹائم کشمیر اسمبلی میں اس نے ایک ہی دفعہ گیا ہوگا. تو اس میں قاری صاحب نے نا والی ویڈیو یوٹیوب پہ قاری صاحب تلاوت شروع کر رہے قرآن پاک کی. آل آف ہم دیکھ رہے ہیں, میں بھی ٹی وی پہ دیکھ رہا تھا, قاری صاحب نے قرآن پاک شروع کی ہے تلاوت, اچانک اس نے سورت مسک وہ آیت روکی, اگلی سورت میں گیا, وہاں سے 2 آیتیں پکڑ کے وہاں سے فٹ کر دی ایک ہی فلو میں. سورہ نساء کی آیتیں شروع کی اس نے, سورہ نساء کی آیتوں کے بعد سورہ مائدہ کی 2 آیتیں لیں اور ساتھ ہی ایک ہی فلو میں فٹ کر دی, جیسے کہ یہ اجازت ہے. چلو ٹھیک ہے, آپ قرات کر رہے ہیں, ٹھیک ہے, اوپننگ سیریمنی میں اللہ کا نام لے رہے ہیں, اور مگر ہوا کیا تھا, قاری صاحب کو شاید بتایا گیا تھا یا وہ خود ڈر گیا تھا کہ اگلی آیتیں 2 جہاد کی میں اسمبلی میں کیسے سنا دوں. اور تو کشمیری ایٹ لیسٹ تو سنا دے, تو کشمیری ہے, تو کہہ ہی رہا ہے کہ یار پاکستانیوں آؤ نا ہمیں ذرا سپورٹ کرو, یہاں پہ تو تجھے سنانی چاہیے تھی. مگر نہیں, اس لیول پہ یہ وہی ہے نا, اسکول میں نہیں ڈرپوک بچے ہوتے جو کالج میں بھی ڈرپوک ہوتے ہیں, کبھی بھی نہیں پائے جاتے اس جگہ پہ جب دوست کو ضرورت ہوتی ہے. یہ جب بڑے ہو کے مولوی بنتے تو یہ قرآن پاک میں ایسی کہانیاں کرتے. ایوری ڈز دیٹ, ایوری ون. گورے بھی یہی کرتے ہیں, اسکینڈینیویا کا گورا بھی ڈرپوک ہوتا ہے, وہ جان کے وہ والے ڈرامے اور فلمیں بچوں کو نہیں دکھا رہا ہوتا کہ وہ کہتا ہے نہیں وہ والی فلموں میں بھی ڈر لگتا ہے, اور بچے بھی اسی طریقے سے اپنے جیسے کر رہا ہوتا ہے. I'm just telling you how human psychology works. That's how generations are built and photocopies are done. And this is why بزدل کا بچہ بزدل, یہ میں نے تو نہیں لکھا نا, اشفاق احمد صاحب نے کہا ہے نا, ڈرپوک کا بچہ ڈرپوک ہی نکلے گا. اور ہم بھی اسی سائنس کو جانتے ہیں, اللہ تعالیٰ نے بھی یہی بتایا ہوا ہے کہ, اور نبی اسلام نے بھی کہا میری نہج پہ ایک بیٹے کو یا 2 بیٹیوں کو بالغ کرنا, میری نہج پہ ہو. کیا نہج ہے نبی اسلام کی؟ سوچیں نا صحیح, ہو کیا نہج ہے؟ سو پرابلم بہت آسان ہے, ہم سب کو پتا ہے, سولوشن بھی ہم سب کو نظر آ رہا ہے جان کے. آپ سوچیں یہ عمران خان نواز شریف زرداری کی چلتی, اگر قوم بہادر ہوتی, ایک دن بھی رہتے ان میں سے کوئی, اگر قوم بہادر ہوتی. نہ ہمارا لبرل بہادر ہے, نہ مولوی بہادر ہے, نہ لیفٹ والے نہ رائٹ والے, پوری قوم پوری قوم کو کسی نے ایسا کوئی, آئی تھنک 1947 میں جب ہم بارڈر کراس کر رہے تھے تو راستے میں پولیو کے ٹیکے نہیں ہوتے, وہ جو قطرے ہوتے ہیں, اس طرح بزدلی کے انجیکشن پلائے جا رہے تھے سب کو کہ پاکستان جا رہے ہو, آ جاؤ سب ایک قطرہ پیو, پہنچو ادھر. اس کے بعد تمہارے ساتھ جو ہونے لگے اس کے لیے خاص قسم کی بزدلی کی ضرورت ہے, ورنہ خودکشیاں کر لو گے اپنی غیرت میں آ کے. غیرت نکالو اس کے اندر سے, خب غیرت نکال دو. اور سب ادھر آئے اور انہوں نے ایوب خان بنایا, پھر انہوں نے یحییٰ خان بنایا, انہوں نے پھر عمران خان سب بنائے, مگر مسلمان نہیں بنایا. بس یہ ایک کہانی, 1% بھی بہادر نکل آئے نا, اسپیشلی خدا کا واسطہ ہے عورت بہادر نکل آئی. جس قوم کی عورتیں بہادر ہیں, آپ کی فرینچ ریولوشن پڑھیں ذرا, لڑکیاں کر کے آنی تھی فرانس کے لیے, پڑھیں ذرا. یورپین نان مسلم غیرت ہر انسان میں اللہ نے ڈالی ہوئی ہے. ہم اسلام سمیت قرآن سمیت غیرت فری ہو گئے ہیں, غیرت فری قوم. وہ بغیر قرآن کے غیرت پریکٹس کرنے والی قومیں دنیا کے ہر خطے سے افریقہ سے نکلی ہیں. حبشیوں نے غیرت کے مارے اڑا کے رکھ دیا دنیا کو, ساؤتھ افریقہ کے. یہاں پہ ہم بیٹھے ہیں جی, وہ جسٹیفائی کریں گے قرآن پاک سے بھی. ایسے تو نہیں ہوگا نا کام. تھوڑا سا سچ اپنے آپ سے بولے, چھوڑے ہم ڈرپوک کہ کسی اور سے نہ بولے, بہت ڈر لگتا ہے کوئی مار دے گا کہ کسی اور سے. اپنے آپ سے تو بولے, اس میں کون مارے گا آپ کو؟ بستر میں لیٹ کے اپنے آپ تکیے چھپ کے اپنے آپ سچ بول لیں, اس میں تو نہیں کوئی آگے قتل کر دے گا نا آپ کو. سو اٹس اے پرابلم اونلی I can solve for myself and my kids. You can solve for you and your kids. Okay?
سر اس میں ایک حضرت عمر بن خطاب کے کال کا ایک آپ سے پوچھنا تھا مجھے کہ ایک آئیڈیل آپریٹنگ سائیکالوجی جو ہوتی ہے وہ کیا ہوتی ہے. جیسے میں نے ان کا ایک کال سنا تھا کہ امید اور خوف کا, آئی ایم شیور آپ نے بھی سنا ہوگا کہ اگر آج اللہ تعالیٰ اعلان کریں گے کہ سب کے سب جنت میں جائیں گے اور صرف ایک بندہ دوزخ میں جائے گا تو مجھے خوف ہے کہ وہ بندہ میں نہ ہوں, اور اگر سب دوزخ میں جائیں گے اور ایک بندہ جنت میں جائے گا تو مجھے امید ہے کہ اللہ سے کہ وہ ایک بندہ میں ہوں گا. تو یہ کیا نام ہے ود ریگارڈس ٹو اینی تھنگ دیٹ یو ڈو, تو یہ آئیڈیل آپریٹنگ سائیکالوجی کہلا سکتی ہے, کیونکہ جو بھی ہم کام کرتے ہیں اس میں ہم پازیٹیو بھی ہمیں پورا ہونا چاہیے اور خوف بھی اس چیز کا ہونا چاہیے کہ مطلب خوف اور امید کو دونوں کو ساتھ لے کے چلنا چاہیے بہت زیادہ.
میں حضرت عمر خطاب نے, اور سنے اس اینگل سے غلط اینگل سے پکڑیں آپ. یہ اینگل کیسے پورا کریں گے آپ؟ کیا کہ میں کچھ بھی کروں گا میں جنت میں چل جاؤں گا, اور میں کچھ بھی کروں گا تو میں دوزخ میں ہی جاؤں گا. یہ دونوں آپس میں ڈسنس نہیں کریٹ کر رہے آپ کے سامنے. یہ کیسے مان لیا آپ نے؟ اور سمجھیں حضرت عمر کیا کہہ رہے ہیں, عربی پڑھیں گے تو سمجھ آ جائے گی کہ میرے اعمال میں کوتاہی رہے گی, سو میں کچھ بھی کر لوں میں دوزخ میں جانے کے پورا کا پورا مجاز ہوں. ٹھیک ہے, کیونکہ میرے عمل میں وہ پرفیکشن نہیں آ سکتی. پرفیکشن کس میں ہے؟ اللہ میں. تو اللہ جب اپنی ایک صفت, کسی ایک صفت کے اوپر جو کہ پریویلنٹ صفت ہے, رحیمیت پہ آئے گا تو میری امپرفیکشن کو معاف کر دے گا. یہ ہے کمپلیٹ مطلب اس پوری دعا کا, جو کہ حضرت عمر نے بارہا بتایا کہ اگر ایک بھی بندہ بچ رہا ہوا تو اللہ اتنا رحیم ہے کہ مجھ جیسا امپرفیکٹ بندہ بھی بچ جائے گا. یہ عمر بن خطاب کہہ رہے ہیں, اور ہماری ایروگنس دیکھیں, ہم اپنے آپ کو کہاں پہ کیا ثواب حاجی صاحب سمجھتے ہیں. الحاج محمد طارق صاحب آئے ہوئے جی, ٹھیک ہے, یہ الحاج یہ ہمارے وہ ہیں. اور عمر بن خطاب کہہ رہے ہیں کہ اگر کوئی ایک بندہ بھی پکڑا گیا جو اپنی کوتاہی, تو مجھے ڈر ہے میں ہی پکڑا جاؤں گا, کیونکہ میں ہوں ہی امپرفیکٹ. اللہ تعالیٰ کی ہستی کی, انسان کی, اللہ تعالیٰ کی ہستی کی بڑائی کی, انسان کی ہستی کی کمزوری اور لاچاری کی کمپیریزن ڈرا کر رہے ہیں تو عمر بن خطاب. یہ دو ہستیوں کا کمپیریزن ہے. یہ ایک ہی ہستی کے اندر دو پر الگ فلسفے نہیں آ رہے کہ پکڑا گیا تو پھر میں پکڑا جاؤں گا, بچ گیا تو میں بچ جاؤں گا. That does not, human psychology doesn't work like this. کہ امید بھی رکھیں اور خوف بھی رکھیں. یہ والا جملہ میں بچپن سنتا آ رہا ہوں تمہر کے بارے میں کہ مجھے امید بھی اور مجھے خوف بھی ہے. یا اوکے, اچھا ہے, چلیے کسی کو سمجھ آ رہی ہے تو سمجھ آ جائے. کسی بھی سوچنے والے دماغ کو یہ سمجھ نہیں آتی کہ اچھا اگر امید رکھی ہے تو پھر ڈر کس بات کا؟ سمپل سوال ہے. حجاج بن یوسف مر رہا ہے, سرحانے پہ کون بیٹھا ہے؟ امام جعفر صادق. حجاج بن یوسف کہتا ہے کہ تجھے پتہ ہی ہے کہ میں نے کیا کیا ہے, تجھے پتہ ہی ہے میں نے کیا کیا ہے, تو پھر بھی میرے لیے دعا کر. امام جعفر صادق خاموش ہیں. ظاہر ہے امام جعفر صادق کو تو پتہ تھا نا کون مر رہا ہے, تو کیا کرتے ہو. تو امام جعفر صادق کو کہتا ہے حجاج بن یوسف, لاسٹ کوٹیشن, آج ٹیسٹ ہے اللہ کی رحیمیت, میں دیکھوں گا کہ اللہ کی رحیمیت اگر مجھ جیسے کو بھی معاف کر دے تو. ٹھیک ہے, میری موت اس امید پہ ہو رہی ہے کہ اللہ کی رحمت سے تو نہیں میں نے بڑے گناہ کر دیے, اللہ کے معاف کرنے کی کیپیسٹی سے تو میرے گناہ کی کیپیسٹی زیادہ نہیں تھی نا. تو امام جعفر صادق نے کہا کہ وہ یہ جملہ بولنے گیا کہ اب میں آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں یہ بچ جائے گا, یہ بچ جائے گا, جو جملہ یہ بول گئے دعا مانگ گیا یہ بچ جائے گا. سو اس چیز کو غور سے سمجھیں. یہ عرب لینگویج کی کتنی طاقت ہے کہ ان کے دماغ کھول دیتی ہے. ہم اردو میں ٹرانسلیٹ کرتے ہیں تو عمر کی اتنی سمپل اور اتنی سپیریئر سائیکالوجی کو ہم پاس کر دیتے ہیں, کنفیوزنگ. ٹھیک ہے, کہ اللہ تعالیٰ سے امید ہے. عمر خطاب کہتے ہیں کہ مجھ جیسا گناہ گار بھی اللہ تعالیٰ کی امید سے مجھے امید یہ ہے کہ میرے تمام تر امپرفیکشن کے باوجود میں معاف ہو جاؤں. बस यहाँ तक मतलब रखे इसका, ठीक है।
सर
वो भी
मतलब
उम्मीद
खौफ
रखा
अपने से
मैं
है
आपको
और
एक और
उम्मीद
बात बताऊं कि इसमें ना एक चीज और मैं आपको बता दूं, ये जो पाकिस्तान में एक और दुआ का कॉन्सेप्ट है, ये जाते जाते मैं बता दूं, ये बहुत सुन रहा हूं मैं। दुआ ऐसे करे, या अल्लाह अगर मेरे हक में बेहतर है तो ये प्लीज दे दे मुझे। और अल्लाह ताला पे कंडीशन क्यों डाल रहे हो? दुआ मांग तो खुल के मांग, या अल्लाह दे मुझे। अगर हक में बेहतर है, अल्लाह ही तो है जो हक में बेहतर करता है, अल्लाह ताला को कुछ थोड़ा है। अल्लाह ताला पहले चेक करे इसकी हक में बेहतर है कि नहीं। अल्लाह ही ने तो बताया बेहतर और हक, बुरा और बेहतर क्या है। अल्लाह चेंज कर देंगे उसको। कौन से रब को मानते हैं आप? आप हर दुआ में इस्तिखारे कर रहे होते हैं कि अल्लाह मुझे, अगर ये इस्तिखारे की दुआ है, बैठे बैठे इस्तिखारे करें, तो दुआ किससे करें? आप किसी मामले की तरफ जा रहे हैं तो इस्तिखारा करें, खुल के इस्तिखारा करें। फिर पाकिस्तान में दुआ मांगने में भी हमने ना एक कंडीशनल रखा हुआ है कि अल्लाह ताला को भी बाउंड करेंगे, पूरी तरीके से दुआ मांगा करें कि या अल्लाह मुझे चाहिए और मेरे हक में बेहतर कर इसको, रादर देन या अल्लाह अगर देख ले जरा, अगर मेरे हक में बेहतर है तो मुझे दे दे। नाउज बिल्ला, अल्लाह का कोई बॉस है जो चेक करके बताएंगे अल्लाह ताला उससे? नाउज बिल्ला। दुआ तो खुल के मांगे, एटलीस्ट अल्लाह से दुआ मांग रहे हैं आप, जो चीज चाहिए अल्लाह से मांगेंगे, अल्लाह मुझे दे, मुझे चाहिए, और अगर अगर मेरे हक में बेहतर नहीं है तो कर दे। ठीक है, ये दुआ, दुआ को तो पूरे हक के साथ मांगे, ये दुआ का हक है कि जो मांग किससे रहे, जो कि हर चीज पे कादिर है, हर चीज पे कादिर है। तो अगर किसी लगा दिया आपने, ओके, सो आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू, ये मेरे ज़हन में आपकी इस बात की वजह से आ गया है। पूरे पक्के दिल से दुआ मांग करें कि मैं मांगे उससे रहा हूं जिसने हर चीज कर देनी है, ठीक है, मेरे प्यार में, खाली अल्लाह को मेरे पे प्यार आ जाना इस दुआ का और कर देना बस। सो जी मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ, मुझे बार बार एक ही मैसेज आ रहा है, आईएमएस के लीडर की क्वालिफिकेशन क्या है? आईएमएस में कोई लीडर नहीं है, कोई फॉलोअर नहीं है, कोई बॉस नहीं है, कोई सबॉर्डिनेट नहीं है, मुसलमानों का ग्रुप इकट्ठा हुआ है, कोई हायरार्की और चेन ऑफ कमांड ऐसी नहीं है, फैसिलिटेटर्स हैं सारे। आपने अगर फैसिलिटेटर बनना है तो बन जाए, फिर जिम्मेदारी लें आके, फुल टाइम काम है, ये क्वालिफिकेशन समझ लीजिए इसकी, फुल टाइम काम है आपने करना है। टीम लीडर के ऊपर जो कैप्टन है वो फुल टाइम काम करेंगे, वो आपको बार बार फैसिलिटेट कर रहे होंगे हर चीज में, सर्विस करेंगे वो आपकी, ओके। सर्वेंट लीडरशिप है ना, वो आपके हेल्पर्स हैं, हर वक्त आपकी सर्विस के लिए हाजिर, उन्होंने कमिटमेंट की है, नहीं करे हमें बताइएगा, हम चेंज कर देंगे, आप आ जाइएगा। दूसरा क्वालिफिकेशन किया है कैप्टन का कि पहला 1000 उन्होंने बनाना है, पहला अपने 1000 क्लस्टर उन्होंने बनाना है। लोगों को कैसे बनवाएंगे अगर अपना नहीं बना सक रहे? वो कैप्टन को कोई मराहत तो नहीं हासिल होती। इस्लाम का ग्रुप बनाया हमने, इस्लाम का मिशन चला रहे हैं, किसी को कोई मराहत नहीं, ओके। आई होप एवरीबडी गेट्स दिस क्वेश्चन। मैं अगली मीटिंग कर रहा हूँ इंशाल्लाह, अगले इसी वीक में 2 मीटिंग स्केड्यूल्ड है, एक मेरी आईएमएस कैप्टन के साथ है और एक टीम लीडर के साथ मीटिंग है। मैं आपको बताता हूँ साथ साथ क्या क्या स्टेप्स करने हैं। आपने ट्विटर हैंडल्स बना लें और क्लब हाउस के ऊपर आईएमएस का जो हमने वो पेज बनाया वो जो आपको दिया उसमें लॉग इन कर लें। ये 2 ही काम बताए हैं आज हमने इस वीक के। अगर आपके ट्विटर हैंडल्स पूरे नहीं हो रहे तो उसका मतलब है आपसे एक ट्विटर का हैंडल नहीं बन रहा, क्योंकि उसमें हमने ट्विटर स्पेस कम्युनिकेट करना है। क्लब हाउस के अंदर क्लोज ग्रुप मीटिंग होती है ना, उसमें वो करनी है। क्लोज का मतलब होता है आ तो सारे ही सकते हैं, मगर हमें मेजर तो पता चलेगा कितने बंदे आए हुए हैं। इन दोनों एप्लीकेशन के अलावा कोई तीसरी एप्लीकेशन है नहीं जिसमें हम मॉनिटर कर सकेंगे सब आए भी हैं कि नहीं, ओके। ट्विटर का हैंडल आपका अपना बना हुआ हो और क्लब हाउस पे आपने वो फिलॉसफी ऑफ इस्लाम का पेज के अंदर और ग्रुप के अंदर आ गए हुए हो आप, हमें पता चलेगा कि आप मौजूद हैं, ठीक है। अपने अपने टीम लीडर्स, मैं आपके टीम लीडर्स को बता रहा हूँ, आपको कैप्टन की लिस्ट आ गई होगी, आई होप। नहीं आई तो कल सुबह आप भेज देते हैं ताकि आपको पता, वही लोग आपके ग्रुप में, अपने व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में ऐड करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, वही आपको उसके अलावा किसी को इजाजत नहीं आपको ऐड करने की, ओके। आप क्लब हाउस पे जाएं और वो लास्ट सेशन कल रात को, कल सुबह 4 बजे तक चला है, 3 बजे तक चला है, वो अटेंड करें प्लीज, ओके। थैंक यू सो मच। उसमें 2-3 स्टेप्स हमने बता दिए आगे। अस्सलाम वालेकुम व रहमतुल्लाह व बरकातुहू।